One going either way. I think Quinton's back displays a much better V here, but the quad sweeps on Urs are so much better. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And yes, Urs Kalazensky goes back to back and wins his second open show. But in my opinion, this show was quite a bit closer. I think Quinton brought a better package, and I do think Urs also brought a leaner and better package, but I think this show was really, really close. So I'm going to be breaking it down, letting you know exactly what I think. So let's get into it. So I'm watching this on Nick Strength and Power's channel to get the clips here. Now, I just want to point out that the clips you see here, the lighting of the camera or whatever here is not the greatest. So I can assure you these guys looked way leaner in person, but I'm going to be breaking it down. So first pose we got here is the front double bicep. Now, from the front, I think Urs has better quads, but other than that, I think Quinton is pretty dominant in this pose, in my opinion. I think he has he has wider clavicles, and that's giving him a little bit more of a V shape. So I would give this pose to Quinton. Next pose is the front lat spread, and I would also have to give this pose to Quinton. Now, I'm giving these two poses to Quinton mainly due to the width of the shoulders. He is quite a bit wider than Urs. While I do think Urs is beating him in the lower body, I think the width that Quinton has is just a little bit better than Urs in this shot. They both exhibit quite an amazing taper, but again, the width of Quinton is kind of overwhelming here. Now, I do think Urs has a bigger and fuller chest, but I would also give the front lat spread to Quinton, but just by a hair again. Side chest pose, I think this is another really close pose. I think Urs has a bit of a thicker and fuller chest, and I also think he's beating Quinton in the side of the leg. I think Quinton has a little bit more width up top, but overall, I think Urs showed enough width here. He has a thicker and fuller chest and a better side leg. I would give the side chest to Urs. Back double bicep, probably a weaker pose for both of these guys. I would have to give it to Urs, though. I think both of their backs could use quite a bit of work, but one thing that Urs definitely has dialed down in this pose is the lower half. If we look at the quads and hamstrings of Urs and Quinton here, Urs is absolutely dominating him in the lower body. I think the back is relatively close, and I think the arms and shoulders are also pretty close, so I would absolutely have Urs taking this pose, making it 2-2 right now. Rear lat spread, honestly, I could see this one going either way. I think Quinton's back displays a much better V here, but the quad sweeps on Urs are so much better. So I think the level of conditioning in this shot anyway, from what I can see here, is fairly close. So I could see this pose going either way. What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer the better V taper and the width of Quinton's back, or do you prefer the better quad sweeps and hamstring development of Urs? So I could give this, I'm going to go halfway down the middle. We're going to call it 2.5 to 2.5 poses. Side tricep, I was thinking I was going to give this one to Urs, but based off just this shot right here, I would actually give it to Quinton. I think he's displaying the side of his leg quite a bit better, and he has a lot more width up top. So I would actually give this side tricep to Quinton. Ab and thigh, Urs absolutely dominating in this pose, in my opinion. I think he's got much better abs. The detail separation's a lot better. I think his lat flare is also quite a bit better, and I also think he has better quads from the front. So I'm giving this pose to Urs, no question. Most muscular, again, I think this is a really close pose. I think Urs, the way he's hitting it, actually gives him more width up top, but Quinton definitely has the bigger shoulders and arms in this pose. I think Urs has a better lower body, so again, I see this as a toss-up. Urs is also flexing his abs there. I think that looks really nice, so I don't know. I think this one, again, is a really close pose. So I would, again, go halfway down the middle here. And I just want to point out, this was more so what the conditioning looked like of the guys actually on stage with much better lighting. I mean, you can see feathering in the quads. I mean, Urs is absolutely believable here. So while I do think this was definitely a very close show, and Quinton and Urs both brought such amazing packages on this day, the judges decided to give it to Urs. I'm sure when the scorecards come out and stuff, you know, we will have seen that it was definitely a very close call, because I can totally see Quinton winning, but I can also see why Urs won, and clearly he did win, so amazing. You know, a little bit unfortunate for Quinton. He missed out on that Olympia qualification to Urs like twice, I guess, and Urs took the win 2 times back-to-back. So, again, really interesting to see what Urs brings to the Olympia. Really interested on if he'll improve on his look leading into the Olympia. But let me know in the comments, guys, who do you think won this show? Obviously Urs won, but I can totally see an argument for Quinton here. Now the comparison that I showed here from Nick Strength and Powers video, obviously it wasn't the greatest lighting ever, so some of the lines and shit were blurred and all that, so it wasn't the greatest comparison ever, but I'm just trying to give you my thoughts and why I think each guy won each pose. But that's my opinion. Huge congratulations to the Miracle Bear, bro. You are doing absolutely amazing right now. So I mean, this is absolutely epic. But that about wraps it up. So if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.